Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bernat Blanket Stitch along with our friends over at Joann.com. Well, we're going to continue then into week number 3 as we continue to expand the center of your Afghan outward. What we're going to do on the one side, we'll do on the other. So without further ado, let's head on into the studio. Let's continue along with your progress and let's get going now. So welcome to week number 3, and in week number 3 we're now going to get even wider and we're going to be adding 6 more rows on either side. So at this point in week number 2 that you finished, you should have up until the aubergine color of the solids going there, and now we're going to add to both sides. So both the sides are identical, so I'm only going to show you one side here and then you're going to repeat the instruction on the other side. Just so that I understood it, I've already done one side off camera so that I could follow it through and make sure everything was good. Everything's good to go, and there is a diagram for this. So let's take a look at that next. So of course, you know me, I love my diagram. So for those that are still following along, the gray area is the last row that you have just finished on week number 2. So don't include that. That's just showing you a reference point to show you rows number 3 all the way through 8. What we need to pay attention to is that the designer has built in an auto correction in this. Meaning that if you've screwed up at any point, this is an opportunity, and I love when designers do this, that you really can ad-lib if you have to. So say for example you had an extra stitch somewhere, this granny square concept is allowing you to be able to correct yourself really quite easily, and we'll cover that a little bit later. So we have 2 rows of like a granny square concept, so we're gonna go across and then back, and then what we're going to do is that we're gonna do a solid going all the way across. What you're going to notice with rows number 5 through 8 is that you're always starting on the side and going back. So what you have to be paying attention to is that once you get 5 done, you don't start on the other side and go back and forth. You always start on the one side that you're going to do this. So again, this is just showing you a rough example on just a preview on how it is. Of course it's gonna be a little bit longer and you can compensate, but this part of the pattern is really quite easy, and I think that you'll enjoy it at the same time. So without further ado, let's head on into row number 3 and let's get started. So as we get started into row number 3, you're going to notice that there is consistency with this particular pattern area. So when we go to start, you'll notice that there is 4 of these grouping of 3 double crochets done in groups. When you come down the other side after you get the top one done, there is going to be 2 and then 2 and then back up then to the top. So what you're going to notice as you're working your way beyond the end section here is that you're just basically 2 and then 2 back up and etc. So you just have to watch your very middles, and so if you need to correct anything at this point, this is where you can do it because these hide inconsistency very well. So technically I probably shouldn't be telling you that, but it's nice to have options when it comes to this kind of concept. So let's grab our crochet hook. We're gonna go back to this particular color. Of course you can use any color that you wish, and we're gonna make our way. So this has already been done, so what we can do is that I'm going to start on the other side with the right side facing up, and the right side facing up is right here, and what we're going to do is start everything going from the edge and exactly what you see. So they're both sides are identical. I just wanted to do it the first time just to make sure I understood. So let's begin. We're going to start off with the slip knot. Leave a longer string than normal just so that you can use that in to be able to hide it in later with the darning needle, or you can hide it as you go. So we want to refer back then to the very section right here. You remember in week number 2 we had 3 put together as one, so the top one where they're all pointing to is the one that you want to go into. Let's just attach it with a slip stitch, and I need you to chain a total of 3. Okay, so let's pull everything nice and tight. So 1, 2, and 3. And this is a consistent thing that I'm about to show you. So you're gonna have to hide this in with the darning needle later. So you're going to skip the next 3 stitches that you have. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to put in 3 double crochets into that same stitch. So 1, 2, and 3, and chase it with a chain 1. Now you're gonna skip the next 3. So 1, 2, 3, another 3 double crochets into that one. 1, 2, and 3. Chase it with a chain 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, skip, and 3 more double crochets in the 4th one. Now that I've done it already once, it's faster to do it a second time because you're more confident in your abilities. So chain 1, skip another 3, 1 2 3, go to the 4th. So you should have a total group of 4 of these on the edge. Okay, so 1 2 3 4. So at this point you should have 4 going up. You're gonna chain 1 and then you're gonna skip the next 3, and you were going to put in 3 double crochet first into the 4th, 1, and follow it by chain 2. You're gonna turn, and then in the same one again you're going to put in 3 more double crochets. So that's the top peak that you need to worry about. Then what you're going to do is chain 1 and you're gonna skip another 3. So skip 1 2 and 3, go to the 4th for double crochets. There's gonna be a total of 3 of them. Followed by a chain 1, skip another 3, go to the 4th one. So if you ever think that you're off by 1 stitch, you can always just kind of like skip 1 less, or you can add 1 more, and it's a really kind of a forgiving thing because it's like a granny square. So now we're gonna skip 5. So 1 2 3 4 5, go to the 6th one, 3 double crochets in that one. 1 2 and 3. Then you're going to chain 1 again. So chain 1, skip another 3. So 1 2 3, go to the 4th one, another 3 double crochets. So these smaller hills have only 2 groupings of 3 double crochet, followed by a chain 1, skip another 3. So 1 2 3, and you're on the top of the peak again. And so in the top of the peaks it always will be the same of 3 double crochets, followed by chain 2 and 3 double crochet. So I'm gonna go down one more time just to make sure you got that, and then I'll see you at the end of this row. Okay, so you're gonna chain 1 first, and then you are going to skip 3 and go to the 4th for 3 double crochets. 1 2 and 3, and then chain 1, skip another 3. So 1 2 and 3, go to the 4th. So you got 3 double crochet there, and then this is the very bottom section, so don't chain 1, just skip 5. 1 2 3 4 5, go to the 6th, and then start up on the other side. Okay, so all you just need to do is just keep repeating what you just learned all the way across, and I'll see you at the end of this. So you're going ups and downs, just pay attention to what's down and what's up. So I'm making my way to the other side, and I'm going down the final hill, and I'm applying my 3 double crochets. This is the last time for this one. So in this side here there will be a total of 4 of those. So 1 2 3 and 4, and then finally what you're going to do then is just reach over to the top of the first, these are 3 together double crochets, and just double crochet into that one, and then that concludes that row. So notice that I did not chain 1 after I did that grouping of 3. So what I want you to do is turn your work, and then we're going to begin the second row, and for this one, and we're gonna be using the same color, and we're still going to be doing the granny square kind of concept. So let's begin to do that next. So if you're familiar with granny squares, this is a really easy concept in order to continue then this next row. So any auto corrections that you may have done in the last row, it really can it puts everything back in line if you had to do that. So we're gonna chain up a total of 3, and we're going to skip in between the first gapping of where these 2 groups are, and we're going to put in 3 double crochet. So 1 2 and 3, and then followed by chain 1 and continue up the hill. So each one of the spaces is gonna get 3 double crochets in it. And chain 1 after, and keep adding those in. So what I need you to show you on this particular round, or on this particular row, is that how to get in between. So how to come down in between those, and once I show you then that, you can just work your way across. So I'm adding my 3 double crochets in each one of the spaces. So there'll be a total of 4 of them like there was before. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Chain 1, and then your top in the corner here is going to be 3 double crochet. 1, 2 and 3, followed by chain 2 so that it will turn the peak. Same gapping space, 3 more double crochets. And now you're gonna come down. So chain 1, go into the next gapping space, and there'll be 3 double crochets there, and go into the next gapping space and fill those in with 3 double crochet. Do not chain 1, skip over this one here, this is the bottom, and go to this one right here and put in 3 double crochets, and that helps you turn the bottoms. So this is the valley, so it helps you skip over so that you can keep your points looking consistent. Okay, so you can see you've kind of gone up and back down, you skipped over this middle one and you jumped. So your chain 1, go into the gapping spaces, chain 1, top of there, and then continue across, and just make sure you do this in the very base. So please do this all the way across. So as you come to the final section there, it's the spaces in between. So we want to put in 3 double crochets in the final gapping space. Okay, just notice that it's in between the groups of 3 double crochet. It's not the gapping space that's on the edge. So once you get that done, there is no chain at all, just double crochet in the top of the turning chain that you started with. So what I want you to do is that I want you to fasten off this yarn at this time, weave in your ends, and then we're gonna turn our work and then go for the next row, but make sure you fasten this off first, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So let's begin the next row. So I've turned my work, I'm looking at the right side up. So for now on, for this clue or for this week, you're gonna always look at the right side then when starting a row. So we're gonna get to the other side, fasten off, and then return back to the side and keep doing that. So we're gonna go. So let's begin this row. So I've turned my work, I'm looking at the right side up. I can tell by the front of this, the granny square. So what we have is that we're going to attach to the top of this chain 3 with the gray. So I'm keeping in line with the colors. Just do a slip stitch to attach and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and this is what I need you to pay attention to. You have 3 double crochets in the first group. I want you to put the first 2 together. So it's gonna be 2 together double crochet. So just pull through and just hold it. You should be knowing how to do your double crochets together at this point, and put it together so you have a total of 3 loops. So what you're going to do is that's how you got started. So now you're going to, we have 1 more in that grouping of 3. So just double crochet that, and you're going to double crochet in each one of the chain 1 spaces and double crochets leading all the way to the top. In the top you'll put 5 double crochets, and then we'll make our way down. I have to show you how to be able to manipulate it in the bottom section when you get to a drop into the valley like this. So what I want you to do is just 1 double crochet in each one of the chain 1 spaces and double crochets leading to the top. I'll meet you back at the top, and then we'll carry on from that point. So I'm coming up to the top, just 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets that are already there. Once you're in the corner space at the top, you're going to put 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and now start going down. So what I want you to do is that I want you to start going down, and I want you to stop when you hit this gap space right here. Okay, so here's the very base, the 2. I want you to stop right here, and I'll see you there in just a moment. So 1 double crochet in each of the crochets and chain 1 spaces leading to that spot. So I'm just going into where I asked you to stop, so it's that space, and now you have the 2 bottoms that are here at the bottom. So we want to do a 3 together double crochet. The first one is gonna be in the first stitch there, the next one will be right in the space, and the next one will be the last one of the group of 3 here to do that. So let's just wrap the hook and collect the first one, pull through 2 and hold it, go into the gap space, pull through 2 and hold it, and then go into the last one of the group of 3 on this side. And so now you have 4 loops on the hook, pull through all 4. So that just made your base. So now you're gonna work up the other side. So again, starting with the chain 1 space and working your way all the way 1 double crochet in each of the stitches, going all the way up to the top. That includes the chain 1 space. When you get to the top, again 5 double crochets, make your way down to the bottom and then do the same thing that I just showed you there and do this all the way across, and I'll see you at the very end to show you how to finish this row. So I'm coming to the other side, and I want to pay attention to the last turning chain and the final 2 of this grouping of 3. So I'm just filling in the spaces with double crochets, and I'm waiting for the last 3 to bring together. So 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just gonna do 3 together right at the very end. I want you to fasten off this yarn then, and then get ready, and we don't turn your work, just go back to the very beginning of this row and restart again a new color. We're going to start with white, and we're gonna get that done. So fasten that off and then just weave in the ends and then just go back to the start of this one and we'll continue it back across. Okay, we're gonna start our vintage white again, well this time around, and we're going to begin and start off with the very beginning. So these 3 that you see here is considered 1 stitch. So go in the very top of that one, and I want you to attach it with a slip stitch and then chain 1, and now this one that you're already in and the next one become 2 together single crochets. So just put those together. So what I want you to do is that I want you to put 1 single crochet in each one of the stitches. Notice how I'm going up over top of my yarn strand so that I can bury it in a position, and then at the very top of the grouping of 5 you're going to put 3 double crochets in there. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna show you how to deal with the bottoms once we get to this section here. So I'll get you to the top and then bottom, and you'll do the rest on your own going across. So I'll meet you at the top of the first peak. When you get all the way to the top, it's the middle one of the grouping of 5 that you see, and that will have 3 single crochets. So it's not 5, it's 3. So 5 is what you would do if it was a double crochet. So now you're just gonna work your way back down, and what we have to do is 3 together at the very bottom of this peak. So just stay with me just for a few moments here. I'm just single crocheting myself back down. So I want to look for where the valley is, so you don't hear me counting stitches because I'm yapping at you. So what we want to do is I want to look to where the base is. So this is the middle one, this is the one before it, and this is the one after. So those 3 are going to become together. I just happen to stop right where I should, so that's just a fluke. So you're just gonna put those next 3 together. So just identify the very bottom one and then look for the one before it and the one after, and just put them together with 3 single crochet together. You're going to go back up, so just starting on the next one, and then again to the top peak. The middle one of the group of 5 has 3, and then once you get to this section here, just put the middle one. So do you see it? There's the middle, there's the one after, and there's the one before. So those 3 will get together. Please do this all the way across for this round or row. I'll see you at the end of this row. Just make sure you finish it off right. So I'm making my way to the end of the row, and what I want to look for is the final 2 stitches that are here at the very base, and I want to put those 2 together in order to finish this color. So we're gonna be bringing back gray after this. So what we want is that this 3 is 1 and then this is 1, so I want to put that one and the last one that has 3 together. So I want you to fasten this off, and then I want you to go back to the starting of this row again, and we're gonna bring back gray and start your next row. So let's start our gray, and our gray is pretty easy to get going again. And the gray, what we're going to do is chain 1 spaces that are gonna get this going. So let's begin, and we're just gonna go into the top of the first one. These 2 belong together, so it's just 1 stitch there, and you're just gonna attach with the slip stitch and chain 1 and go into that same one plus the next one, and you're gonna put those 2 together. Now you still have to, even though we're gonna do chain 1 spaces, you have to do the next one still just 1 single crochet, and then we start the chain 1 spaces. If you would have noticed at the beginning of this tutorial, you would have noticed that I had numbers handwritten as 9 and 5. So there's 9 gapping spaces and then 5 when you come down the middles like this, the smaller sections. So it just helps me to keep count. So you're gonna chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next. So that's 1 of 9. So chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next, and I'm not gonna say that again. I'm just gonna do it. So I'm just gonna chain 1, single crochet in the next, and that's for 3, and this is 4. I'm counting the gap spaces. This is 5, This is 6. This is 7 and 8 and chain 1, and the 9th gapping space happens when you finally insert into the very top of the peak. And in the tops of the peaks you're gonna do what you already know. So you got 1 single crochet in there, you're gonna do another one and another one, and then start going down the hill. So there's gonna be 5 gapping spaces. So chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next. So 1 and 2. This is 3. This is 4. And then this is 5. So once you get your 5th one, okay, I'm not completely finished that 5th one. I just want to put 3 together. Okay, so just go into the next one, pull through, and go into the next one after that. So you get 4 loops. So by doing that you end up creating that 5th gap. So if you want to double check, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. You're going to chain 1, skip 1 and go back up. So there's 5 gapping spaces going back up. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, chain 1, and then the next one is the peak, and you'll put 5 in that one. So do the same thing going all the way across. I'll meet you at the end of this row to make sure you finish it right, and then we have one more row to do after this, and then your week number 3 is done. So as I come all the way back to the end, remember that there's 9 gapping spaces. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, chain 1, skip 1, and there is the 9th gapping space, and then the final 2 get put together. Okay, so there was no skipping of stitches after that final one that you put. So what I want you to do is fasten this off, and we're gonna bring back our white for the final row for this clue. So fasten this off and I'll see you, and make sure you just go back to the start of this row, so don't turn. So let's bring back our next and last color. This is the last time you're going to do this row for now. You got to repeat everything you just learned right from the aubergine all the way up. It's a total of 6 rows. You're gonna come into the top, see how these 2 are together. You're going to come into that one, and you were going to just attach with the slip stitch, pull everything nice and tight, and then chain 1, and you're going to put that one plus the next one together as a single crochet 2 together. So as you make your way up, what you need to do is that you need to go into a chain 1 space when there's chain 1 spaces, or a single crochet if there is one. This will make the gray look like it's doing peekaboo colors, which you see in the picture. So it's just 1 single crochet either in a stitch or a chain 1 space, depending what it is. So what we have to do is that once we get to the top, there's going to be 3 single crochets into the peak, and it's the middle one of the group of 3 that gets that. So you don't hear me counting at all because I don't need to. I'm just watching my stitches as far as just waiting for that peak to appear into my palm of my hand, which is now happening, and I'm coming into the last gapping space. So what we have is the next one is the first one of the grouping of 3, and then the second one is going to be the top peak. So put in 3 single crochets there. We're now gonna go down, so just continue downward into the first single crochet and then a chain 1 space, and keep doing that. So the bottom of this is gonna be 3 together single crochets as we get there, and I'll show you how to identify that in a moment. So what we have here is that you can see this is the 3 together. So the space before it and the one before it right here and the one after it right here are going to become together. So we're not quite there yet. So we're gonna start with the space, collect it. You're gonna start with that single crochet of 3 together, and then the space after it, and put those together. So you're gonna work your way back up then the other side. So remember, the tops of the peaks it's 3 together, or sorry, 3 into the same, and then at the bottom of the valleys it's 3 together. So please do this all the way, and this will complete this particular clue for week number 3, and I'll see you at the end of this row. So as you come to the very end, you're just going to put the final 2 stitches together. So you have 1 stitch, and then these are 2. So put that one, the final stitch there, and then this stitch, the very last one, it's 2 together underneath. Put that together, and then that's it. So you're going to finish off and just fasten this off. You're going to do the other side if you haven't done so already, and then get that done, and then see me next week as we continue our crochet along with our friends at Joann. This is a stitch along, and I'll see you next week. So now that you've done one side of your blanket, you're going to go back and do the other side in order to grow it out equally. It's like a mirror, right? So let's continue on to week number 4 next week as we continue our stitch along with our friends over at Joann.com. I'm your host Mikey from the Crochet Crowd. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.